Ladies and gentlemen, this is continuation in the loft studio of the conversation that we had at the talk show room. We still have here Joe helping us with photography and filmmaking tips. Joe, what is the process before you stepping in the studio, and what do you do, or how do you set up the mood so what you produce has the most value?
Well, typically I like to make sure that I'm on the same page with the production crew, whoever the producer is or whoever the creative director is. On some occasions, it's just producer, photographer straight on. So then I just make sure that there's a mood board, there's a clear vision, there's scheduled times, a call sheet, that all the information is there and ready, so that this way when hair and makeup team, they arrive, the models are there on time. I'm particular about being on time. Like, I'm always early, never late, so I expect the same thing out of my crew. And there's just a level of professionalism that you have to have before you go into any shoot. And no matter what it is, if it's not you, if it's you're working for a client, you're working for yourself, that attitude should always be consistent. So it doesn't matter if you're doing a shoot for yourself because it's a hobby, or you're doing a shoot with a client. You should always anticipate the worst thing, and so this way.
What do you do specifically to anticipate the worst?
Well, basically, make sure extra batteries, backdrops, things that might not be there for you to execute your job, right? So
let's say you do your wedding shot. Let's say the location is not available. Do you have a backup location?
It depends on if it's.
The permit doesn't come through or occur.
You should always have a backup plan. You should. Sometimes things don't work out.
Cameras, you have extra.
2 cameras, additional stuff.
People who shoot for you.
Well, usually I don't necessarily run into those issues. The only times that I do, well, models get sick, MUAs get sick. A lot of times I'll tell the models to if I'm controlling that aspect of it, I say always bring a kit, because you might have to do your own makeup if the makeup team doesn't show up or hair doesn't show up. We have something usually at the studio. We'll have some kind of makeup kit or hair kit just in case that team doesn't show up. But also making sure that the people on the crew understand the final product. So this way you're all on the same page and people stay in their lane, if that makes sense. So. For example,
You control people who work for you. Should be staying their lane, but you, as a producer, in that sense, you step in different directions. You're a makeup person, you're a hair person, you're a photographer, you're a stylist. You are way more than just being a photographer in that sense, right?
Yeah, you have to always. Look, even hair and makeup team, they always have to prepare themselves, because it's your work that's coming out, right? So you want to make sure that it's represented well. You want to always be prepared for the worst, right? So I even had a good friend of mine who was a stylist that had to step in as a photographer, because the photographer just,
So you need to know the gaffing, you need to know the light.
It's helpful. It's helpful if you do. So this way you're not so locked into this, like, okay, well, I'm just going to do my job, and hey, that's not my problem, Yeah. Usually, that's the whole essence of working as a team. You work as a team to execute the best product, right? What were you going to say?
Can you shut it for a second?